Hi and welcome to our first business chat as a small business, I'd like to say startup, because we're fairly new to the dog product world, even though we've been established with other projects for quite a while and changed our way forwards, I suppose, and stopped making things. So my name's Denise, I'm the Managing Director of Heartfelt Products, and I have a couple of really good helpers who are artisans that make products for me. So just a general background of me, just very quickly. So I've been in business development for ever since I left school, which is an awful long time. And I've worked in lots of different sectors. In fact, I actually took on like 3 contracts at a time, and I was working for different types of businesses and business developed them as well. So I've had such an amazing career. It's just been incredible. I've made products, I've petitioned government, asked to change laws. I've literally raised above a disability and got my health back, and then I've had another accident and trying to crawl back from that again. So there's been a lot going on, being a single parent, and I've got 6 dogs. So yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? So when you start a small business, you have to be everybody within that business. You've got to be the accountant, you've got to be the marketing salesperson, you've got to be the social media, you have to, make the products possibly, or, I'll know which product ranges you want, and there's a lot to do. It's really, really hard work, and knowing where your market is and who your market is. So there is a lot that goes into it, and also I found a huge amount of financial investment. And I don't think I was ever really aware of how much money I'd have to invest into the business to get it going. But my whole thing with Heartfelt Products is that we make it ourselves. We buy the raw materials like the sweatshirt and t-shirt, but we do it ourselves. Like, we design our own designs, we embroider them, we keep control, we make sure that what we send out the door is the best quality that we can send out, and that it's had love and attention other than something that you could just have, which is mass produced. It's important to us to give that real feel good factor, that, if you've bought something from us, you feel like you've got some real good quality product back. And that's important. So, and I have 2 great artisans that work for me and help me. So they make products for me, and they're just incredible. And you have to make sure that the people are aligned with your end goals and they're aligned with your values, and you need to know your values, really. Mine is not compromising very little on what I want, and if I want it to be of a certain standard, it has to be that standard, and we'll fight and work it until it is that standard. And we do prototypes, loads and loads of prototypes, until we get it right, and then we test it. So then, it's testing the prototypes, making sure it works in situ, working for the actual reason that it's made for, because if it doesn't stand up as a product, then it's just not worth having, is it not worth selling? I mean, no one's going to recommend it, and no one's going to buy it again if they want 2 of them. So all of those things are really important to me, but it is the investment of time. I mean, crikey, if I try to sell our products on a time, the monetary equivalent of the time that we're into them, if you never sell them. So you do have so many losses within a business, and obviously if you're making stuff people don't want, people aren't going to buy it, it's just going to sit there, and you're going to have to reduce it or give it away, and it's really difficult. And we've done that. You're going to make mistakes. Just make sure that it's going to be with low value items that don't take a lot of time. That's all I can say. Even to the fact of printing stuff yourself is expensive. I mean, we've got ink tanks now, but we did have the ink jets and the cartridges, and I think the Canon still has the cartridges. Really expensive, but it's great what it does. And we don't do masses, so again, at the moment, we don't need to find a company that can do it for us. So you've got obviously your online sales. So heartfeltproducts.com, heartfelt-products.com has been in operation existence for 12, 13 years. I mean, it's been forever. But during that time, because I have like a website I buy from a company and then I do it myself, they will then shut down all models and you'll have to take out a new package and start all over again. It's exhausting. However, I have found more recently, since the last changeover, we just don't get seen. You know, getting seen now is really difficult. You know, you do your meta descriptions and your meta tags and you have to put more detail into everything, and I've got to go back and redo it again, and then you have to link your social media. Pinterest, very good for that, you know, but I don't do paid advertising. Is it something I'm going to do? Reluctant to, want to try and generate leads, because I used to pay for Facebook ads and my Facebook account got hacked. My account went down, couldn't resurrect it. My business account was off the back of that. Lost every single penny I put into it. Yeah, that wasn't good. So I kind of learned the hard way with that one. Etsy, I've put things on there and they're within pages of 13,000 products. I mean, you know, so that's not great. You want to stand out, you know, you don't want it to take ages. You want this quick kind of turnaround. And so we're working through this at the moment. Is probably going down the route like we have of doing stands at events, but I must admit people don't have the money when they come to events. So it's been a difficult one. So let me explain. We used to have a stand, and we used to have like 3 tables and an H frame, and we used to pay under £50 to take it along to a local venue for the day. Now we could take like £140, which is nothing, but it was sometimes better to do that and take out the £40 of the of whatever it was for the actual rental of the area, because sometimes it would be a lot more profitable than others. But we usually always broke even, although you could call it a loss, because if we sold anything, that's a loss because it comes out of your money you've spent. So it was always a bit topsy-turvy, but a lot of the time we did actually make money. And then there is the other events we used to go to, and some of the local craft events, because we're VAT registered, so obviously we've got to put in for, we have to account for VAT. So if we sold anything there, was just a miracle, because people wanted it like a car boot. Just didn't work. You can't do it. And I wanted to really, really support one of the local venues, because it's been going since Victorian era, you know, it's been, and I would do it and do it and do it. But it was soul destroying, and you just can't afford to keep ploughing money into something if it's not, things aren't changing generally. Then we tried to go larger this year, and so we really didn't. So last year we didn't do a lot. We lost momentum last year, which was really, really annoying. We had customers come to us, but because I damaged my shoulder, I couldn't do them, and I had to say sorry. And last year people had money. This year people didn't have the money as much. I mean, last year people were struggling, but not like this year. This year's that whole completely different ballgame. So so we thought this year, I bought the commercial embroidery machine so I could keep going with the shoulder, and to help me, because I don't want to give up, because I'm not that type. I wanted to do a large event. So, and this was the thing, the investment up front to do a large event is a lot. I mean, it was £4,500. We sold 350, and that included VAT. So yeah, but then again, I had to buy the gazebo, which is up for sale. If anyone wants a pink gazebo, it's up for sale, because we probably won't do another one. It was just a one-off, and I think the friends who helped me, you know, we're all getting a little bit older, and they were a bit creaky, and yeah, so I don't think that's going to work for us so much moving forward. It was definitely worth a go, and obviously they handed out loads of leaflets, you know, 1,000 leaflets or so handed out, so we might get work back from that, which will be good. People know about us now, which is great. I'm sure it was absolutely beneficial in the long run, but it was a big spend. And we're still then going back to the fact we need to get the internet sales going. So, and that comes from social media, from people knowing who we are, what our values are. You know, what's a wholesome feel good factor? Why would they buy from us rather than going to Temu or, you know, somebody like that, much more wholesale or a cheaper or more affordable end of the market. Not that we're not affordable, but you know, our sweatshirts are anything from like £38, I suppose. But this design, for instance, takes an hour on the machine. These are viscose threads. They are really expensive, Madeira and marathon threads. And they're on, so the stabilizer we use a permanent stabilizer. We don't use a tear away. You know, when you tear it away and it's all cheap and it all comes off, we don't do that. Permanent stabilizer. So it's always got the stabilization behind it. And then we hand cut away the stabilizer from the back of it, which obviously you won't get from big embroidery companies. And then if we're using a fleece, we use a topper, and then we'll hand get rid of the topper around the outside because it stops the stitches sinking down into the fabric. It's all about those touches, and unfortunately they cost money. And actually, if we probably charged what they were worth, the sweatshirts would be over £100, and maybe one day they will. You know, we use satin badges, satin I say badges, they are you know, with our name on. I've got one on here, hold on. Labels, and you know, this one matches this one because it's the red, white and blue one, but we have the new logo as well in the satin. And they're expensive. Everything costs money, and stitching them on, I mean, they're a nightmare to stitch on because they move, and even putting tape under them is not ideal. So, you know, we test, research, as I say, and prototype, and everything is just considered. It's actually considered. So our products are that little bit more expensive, but I think they fall in line with a lot of places that you would go for a very large embroidery on a sweatshirt. So yeah, so we have to get the online sales going. So I am going to be doing a Patreon. I'll let you know how that goes. And I am thinking about setting up a shopify.co.uk so that we can do backlinks and things between the websites. Maybe that'll pull us forward a bit. You need to drill down into the details. So ChatGPT is amazing. All right. It saved me thousands of pounds, even with the free version. And I thank it so much. I know it's weird because like AI mostly drives me nuts, but ChatGPT is my lifeline, my go-to for everything. Run through it. If you've got a website, ask it to analyse it, tell you where your shortfalls are, ask it to come up with recommendations for changes, look at what it's telling you. I mean, obviously it doesn't always get it right, maybe you need to check that out, I don't know. But I always do that as due diligence anyway, but it's very, 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 very good, and it's so instant and very polite as well. So yeah, I must admit it's my best buddy for being online, because it's restructured everything. It runs my life. You know, we show the dogs, like it's given me a show plan. It tells me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It gives diagrams. I mean, it's just incredible. So whatever, all sorts of things I'll run through that. Legal things, obviously you might need a solicitor, but it gives you that sort of heads up. So I find that amazing that it can analyse what Google is looking for and give you the solution to try and put into what you're doing to actually uplift you. So give that a go, because the way forward is all going to be AI. So start using it now and getting used to it, because if you're starting off in business, you're going to need it moving forwards. So yeah, that's my initial hints and tips. I will also do a talk about Canva and Affinity Designer and all of the other things that I use, and also Cricut or Crocut, or however you want to say it, and go into more detail about things. But this is just an overview on sales and marketing and how we go about things. I've also said, and I always say it, as long as you don't go mad with doing this, because we have to think of the trees. I mean, they're being cut down, aren't they, way too much anyway. But if you need to get hold of somebody and you want to make an impression, send them a letter, give it a go. Because I know I don't get much post these days. If I get anything through that letterbox, I'm like, oh wow. And it will sit there, but then I'll look at it. Whereas if I'm getting thousands of emails and it all looks like sales and marketing junk, I'm just going delete, 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 delete. And I won't even look at it. Won't look at it. But if something catches my eye and it's on the side, I will take a scan of it. I don't want, though, you know, like the window cleaning leaflets or the window leaflets, and they put it through without an envelope. Don't look at that. It's got to be a letter. You need to do your research. You need to know who you're sending it to, address it properly, and spell check it. And I went to typing school. Lay it out nice. You know, it needs to catch the eye. Looks really professional, and do it that way. See what happens and let me know. Take care, everyone. Bye.